Nancy will be doing the tallying. Okay. Those votes will be tallied, and the top three, those with the top three number of votes, will move forward into more of a questioning period, where they'll each be presented with a random question. I will draw a random name out of the hat and a random question out of the hat, so we don't know what's coming. And you'll be given that opportunity to answer that question.
It's kind of like the Miss America.
Kind of like Miss America, yeah. Not really, but there's no swimsuit competition and no talent show. But other than that, it's like Miss America. So if there is a tie, I mean, as the council has cast their initial set of votes, if there is a tie, we would then move 4 people forward instead of 3. At the end of that question period where they've each answered their own question, council will again cast their vote for one person. If there is a unanimous or majority decision, that person will move forward and we will appoint that person this evening. We'll entertain a motion at that point to appoint that person to the city council. If there is a tie, there are 4 council members, so it is possible that we end up with a tie. If that is the case this evening, we will then decide that with a coin toss. I have the official city challenge coin with me, and so we'll flip the challenge coin, and that person will be appointed to the council. So we'll see how that goes. So we are going to start this evening. We'll actually just going to go in alphabetical order. So we will start this evening with Jeff Baker, and allow Jeff to make his presentation first. I will I'm going to have Adam Lenhart, our city manager, run our clock.
Good evening. I appreciate you having me come in tonight and for the chance to visit with you.
Yeah, it's on.
Okay, there it is.
It's on. So my name is Jeff Baker. I have lived here in Clearfield for coming up on 5 years now. Here with my wife and my kids. We live just a few blocks away from here. Shortly after coming to the city, I got involved as a volunteer here, and I met with Scott Hodge, and I discussed with him the need for mapping of the city's infrastructure. In other words, what's under the city. The city's water, the city's sewer, the city's storm drain system. They didn't have any of that in a GIS format, and that's what I do by profession, is GIS work, and I've been doing that for about 22 years now. But I met with Scott, and over the next couple of years or so, I also met with the public works staff in depth, and we put together the infrastructure in a GIS format. And coincidentally, along with this, it fulfilled one of the goals of the Vision 2020 document, and I was quite pleased to find out that I had killed 2 birds with 1 stone. In terms of career and experience, I've been in GIS for 22 years, as I mentioned. Started in Scottsdale, Arizona, and from there went to Salt River Project in Phoenix, again doing GIS work. So I then served as a GIS coordinator for the city of Florence, Arizona. And then I came up here, and I'm currently working for Davis County as a GIS analyst. I also, and I have to disclose this, I am also an independent contractor right here for Clearfield City. Now, if I were an employee, I realize that would be a conflict of interest. However, as an independent contractor, I honestly don't know if that creates a conflict or not. But regardless, I do want to be very open and forthright about that. What do I bring to the city? I believe I bring a great deal of volunteerism. The project that I mentioned was done almost entirely as a volunteer for a couple of years. I've also done some work with the Parks and Rec Department, a little bit there, in getting them up and going with GIS and mapping. In the past, I have served on a safety committee while working in Phoenix. At SRP was the company's name. They had about 4,000 employees. I chaired the committee there, the safety committee there. Also been involved in the Boy Scouts, serving on scout committees and at various responsibilities there. While in Arizona, I volunteered with the local sheriff at Pinal County as a member of their search and rescue team. And I was involved with them for about 7 years. And that was a great experience. I thoroughly enjoyed that. But I believe that I can, okay, thanks, Adam. Adam's telling me 2 minutes left. I believe that what I bring, or would bring, to the council is the spirit of volunteerism. I don't believe necessarily that it's meant to be a leadership position as much as it is a position of service to the community, to our families, to our schools, and to those around us. I believe I bring a great deal of technology experience. I've been involved in technology for many years, and so I think I would be a strong advocate for technology advancements here in the city. I've also worked at various levels of government, virtually all levels of government. I've worked for the federal, the state, county, and city organizations over the years. And so I think I bring a great breadth of government experience to the table. So with that, I'll step aside and allow your consideration. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. It is okay to applaud. We do have 9 qualified people here this evening, and so it is certainly okay to applaud. It takes a lot to run for council. It takes equally as much to stand up in front of a city council and make a presentation, so thank you. So next is Sherry Eichmeyer? Okay, Eichmeyer Reynolds.
So if this is like a Miss America pageant, I'm just teasing. Yeah, thank you for this opportunity. I saw it actually posted on Facebook, and I have always hungered to be involved in the community. And I'm strongly rooted here. I've been a resident for 13 years, and just a year ago, I purchased a building on 610 North and moved my business to Clearfield as well. So I'm really deep-rooted here, and like I said, I've always hungered to be involved. The political process has always been really interesting to me, but to be honest with you, I haven't had a lot of time to be involved. I have been raising 3 kids single-handedly and building a business, and so I haven't had a lot of time. So I would say my community service has been to support my kids at North Davis Junior High and Clearfield High for the last several years, and they were very actively involved. My oldest was involved in the arts program. He was on the Clearfield Youth City Council actually at one time, and my middle was involved in student government really heavily. And so that's kind of been my community service, is raising my family and encouraging them to be law-abiding good citizens. Politically, I have been involved with Farmers Fee PAC. I own a farmers insurance agency, and I've done that for 17 years. And I have moved 6 times, and this last time was like, I'm going to root myself, I'm buying a building, and I'm not moving again. So, but I've been really involved in Farmers Fee PAC, which is Farmers Employee Agent Political Action Committee. And what that does is we support candidates that are insurance industry friendly. And recently I just met with Carrie Ann Lisenby, and very happy for her success, and love who she is, love what she represents. Sat down and met with her, and we supported her in her campaign because we felt very strongly what she represented. And then I'm also part of FLAG, which is Farmers Legislative Action Group. And each February I help to sponsor our legislative session up on Capitol Hill. And we meet with legislators, and we, just stay in tune to what's going on, and bills and laws that are brought forward that will have a positive or an adverse effect on our industry as well as the public. And I've been really involved with Kurt Oda for the last several years, and pardon me? Okay, and we are actually competitors. So he's an independent agent, and I'm a farmer's agent, and we work very well together for the best interest of our industry as well as the community. I feel I'm the right person for the job because I've been a resident for a long time and I'm a business owner. And so I've been through a lot, so I can relate to a lot of people. I've been poorer than a church mice. When I became a single mom, I had a 6-year-old, a 3-year-old, a 1-year-old, and $5.42 to my name, and everything we owned in a green duffel bag. So, pulled out scared to death on the verge of, not knowing what was next, not knowing where our next meal came from. And so I've been there, and I can relate to those people. I'm middle class. I can relate to those people. I'm a business owner. I can relate to those people because we employ people, and we have the responsibility that they can provide food for their families. And so I just feel like I can relate to a lot of people. Probably one of my biggest strengths is building relationships and crossing bridges and bringing people together. And I believe that we're all very different. We all have our own opinions. We all have our different backgrounds, where we've come from, where we want to go. But ultimately, we need to play nice on the playground. And I think we can do that. And I think our differences is what makes us strong. And when I moved here 13 years ago, you said we're moving to Clearfield, and people said, oh, Clearfield, and now we're a city to be reckoned with. And I want to be part of that. I feel like I'd be a great asset in being part of that, and hope that you'll give me that opportunity.
Thank you. Ron Jones.
I've already got cotton mouth. I haven't said a word yet. Mayor, council, staff, Ron Jones, and most of you know me. I'm extremely grateful to stand before you guys today, just in the opportunity to continue my service with Clearfield. In the last campaign, I ran the absolute best campaign I could muster up with everything that's going on in my life, and I don't really think that I never chalked it up as a loss. Believe it or not, I think Clearfield won that day, and I'm extremely proud to say that I'm associated with a city that I love. I've spent in my time. I've spent 6 years now. This will be the 6th year I spent on Planning Commission, 2 years on City Council, and many things that we've been able to accomplish within that time frame. Some of those things that I've jotted down to note is expanding the We've Got It Made campaign, the general plan that we've revamped many times in order to further the vision that we have for our city. There's been a lot of door knocking, a lot of community involvement in order to find out what's right for our citizens, not just our own opinions. Some of my favorite things that I've experienced is the difference of opinion within the city, and the teamwork that we've had to work through these issues and all come to a general consensus on what's right. That's probably what I have to bring to the table, back to the table, is my team player mentality, my experience in the finance industry with my almost 20 years of experience in residential lending and commercial lending and the contacts that I have there. I love to talk to people. I love to help, and I love to make the place where I live better. I'm simply the right man for the job because I've been there. I want to be back there to help our city continue to grow, continue to get better, and there's not a learning curve. So as I come back and hit the ground running, I don't think there's going to be any issues with having to catch up. That being said, I respect everyone on our panel, on our council. Our staff is amazing, and I'm grateful for the opportunity. So with that, thank you very much.
Stuart Jones.
Thank you, Mayor, council members, city staff. It's a very distinct privilege and honor to be here. And I apologize for my voice. I'm not really choked up. I just got over the flu last week. To understand why I'm the best candidate for this is to understand who I am and where I've come from. When I grew up as a child, it was in poverty. We were homeless, broken home, literally broken home, houses falling apart. I never grew up with any sense of roots. We moved year to year, never a school more than 2 years at a time. It was difficult to find a sense of belonging. It was difficult to find friends and family and to grow up in a supportive, structured environment. As I grew up into a young adult and found those foundational struggles to be pulling me back as much as anything else, I joined the service because it was much easier to go to work when you have a legal obligation to do so every day and to have someone tell you what you're going to do every day. I didn't have to make those kinds of decisions for myself. But what I did learn is I learned how to do great and amazing things and what I was capable of as a person and what I was going to take with me from that point forward in my life. Recently, after my service, unfortunately, my first wife passed away, and I had to bring up my then young daughter in another broken home and to take her from home to home and to do the same things that have been done to me with more love, but still the same struggles that she had to grow up with and things that she had to fight so hard to overcome. She is now, fortunately, a very successful 20-year-old young woman who does very well and has strength that I would never have been able to impart on her, and I'm grateful for that. But then when I later remarried and I found another lovely wife who wanted to have a child with me, and we decided that we wanted to do things a little bit better. I got a career, I went back to college, I graduated top of my class, perfect grades. I learned more about what I was capable of as a father and a human being, and what I wanted to provide to my family was a sense of belonging and community and some home and some roots. I had friends who had lived in Clearfield, and we were making the decision between staying in Salt Lake where we could be in kind of a thrown together environment which has an amazing community, it has amazing things going on, or we could find some place that was a little further out and accept a commute, but to find a place of our own and to have a real neighborhood and be able to play outside and to do things that were safer and have her grow up in one place, hopefully, knock on wood, where she would have one set of friends and one school that she went all through elementary, and to have all these people that she grew up and knew, so that that wasn't the fight that she had to have. We just celebrated our third Thanksgiving in Clearfield, and I've been grateful every day since I moved here. Our neighborhood is simply amazing. The people that I know on my block, the people that we deal with in our school, the people that we deal with in commerce, with municipal facilities, everything has been everything we have ever wanted. As I started to get more successful in my career and I started to get more involved with my daughter's school and the people around me, I started to learn what a deliberate thing that is by the people that are in this room and the people that have come before you to bring that kind of environment into people's families and their homes and to provide economical strength and growth for the businesses in the community. And the more I found that that was deliberate and it took a lot of hard work to do, the more I wanted to be a part of that process. I was already planning to actually start getting more involved and run for the next election for city council, but this opportunity presented itself and I wasn't going to let it squander. I am a project manager in a highly technical position where I work. I deal with some of the largest tech companies in the United States on a daily basis. I have to help them work through hard budgetary decisions. I have to show them the value of what they're getting in everything that they do, as well as what they need to give up to make those decisions and what they're going to have to accept in things, but to guide them along the best path for their employees, for their staff, for their clientele. More importantly, however, the thing that I am gifted with the most and what I was recognized for last night at my company's Christmas party as the Employee of the Year is that I have an underdog spirit and I build trusting, long-lasting professional relationships with all of our clientele. I have the highest customer satisfaction rating in my department. I impart that ability onto other people and try to raise them up with me and to do better than I do for them. What I would love to do is to be able to provide civic leadership and to benefit from that same civic leadership from the people in this room. And I think that I'm the best candidate for the job because I'm going to get the job done, I'm going to get it done right, and I'm going to help other people understand the benefit of that and also hopefully provide some role modelship to my family and show them the importance of the work that I would do here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Stuart. And, Brady Juggler.
Your Honor, members of the jury. Years ago, when we were deciding where to move, our realtor was showing us different places from Roy to Kaysville. I worked at Davis Hospital, and we're trying to stay relatively close to the area. There's only one house that they showed us in Clearfield, and it just immediately felt like the place that we were supposed to be. Clearfield felt like home right away, and the feeling of community has only grown the whole time we've been here. And the people of Clearfield are amazing, and despite my residency here, I think are a fantastic group of people, and I feel privileged to be among them. Why am I interested in the City Council? I think it makes sense to understand a little bit of my background. Growing up, I was raised in a family that subscribed to conspiracy theories. You know, elected officials are puppets, elections are smoke and mirrors, we're all doomed, and there's nothing anybody can do about it. As I grew up, I realized the truth, that that's not actually the case. We live in a republic established by the Constitution with checks and balances in the government to protect us and our rights, and that the states are co-sovereigns with the federal government, and we're not subordinate. And it's not a chain of tyranny to the top where there's legitimate elections, and Fox Mulder isn't even actually a real person. We have representation in a small area, and it makes it easy to talk to elected officials. Particularly in Utah, we have the caucus convention system, which furthers that across the board. And on the city level, it's easy to access because of the way that the government is structured. And you can imagine that coming from the one perspective, realizing that may be a little bit of a liberating feeling. You know, I feel like growing up believing what I believed, that finding out that that's not the case is something that allows me to appreciate that perhaps more than being able to take for granted a lot of the freedoms that we do in the United States. Since then, it's become my passion to maintain and protect that, so that what is true about us, and that we are free, and that we all have the ability to participate in our government and to make choices about our own destiny, to maintain that and to keep it real. And so I've done everything I can to participate in the community and to allow everybody to be able to have their voice and to participate in government. Right now I serve as the Ledge District Vice Chair for the Davis County Republican Party for District 14, which is mostly Clearfield, where I facilitate the engagement and interaction of voters to participate, to be able to communicate with their elected officials. In that position, I fought to defend the caucus and convention system, which I believe is integral to the system because it allows people to have better engagement with their government. I've also done the same on the State Central Committee where I serve. And beyond that, I've always tried to support good leaders. And I remember when I first found out that Councilwoman Benson was running, I interviewed her and wanted to make sure that she was principled and honest and had a proper understanding of the role of government, and found that she had all those things, and I did everything I could to support her. And I was very, very pleased when she was elected. When I was given the opportunity to serve on the Planning Commission, I pursued that because I thought it was another opportunity I have to serve the community and to establish that the rule of law is applied equally, and that serve in the capacity and to make sure that the things are done correctly. I feel that I've learned so much being on the Planning Commission. To this point, I may even be qualified to serve on it. I also serve as an unpaid director of an organization that seeks to retain monetary power and protect against inflation, which is it's another form of taxation. In that role, I'm familiar with decisions and emphasis on integrity and transparency, as our credibility is very important to be able to have influence. My daily profession is as a computer analyst, where I identify processes and find ways to reduce inefficiency and error. And being self-employed, I know about the importance of delegation, but ultimately, if I don't work, I don't eat. And hopefully nobody reads into that with how excited I get when there's cheese and crackers at the City Council workstation. But My success in that is attributed to my skill in being able to identify how things are done and find better ways to do it. In summary, I feel that my skill set and experience gives me the unique position, and that's why I feel that I'm the best candidate for the job. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Brady. Tim Roper, come on down.
Been a long wait. Your Honor and members of the City Council, I appreciate this opportunity to be able to stand before you and speak this evening on why I'm interested in the open position on the council and why I'd be a great fit. I have great gratitude to be numbered among these great candidates as well. First, why I am interested. I moved to Clearfield about 14 years ago, moved into the Clearfield Cove Apartments and soon found a home here and have called it home ever since. I have made some great relationships in Clearfield, some that will last a lifetime and beyond that I've been able to forge here. I've enjoyed raising my 5 children here with my beautiful wife and be able to be involved with them in the many opportunities we have to be involved here in Clearfield, whether it's going to the park, participating in sports programs, or our wonderful facilities here in Clearfield. I grew up in a family where civic duty was very important in my small town of Washington Terrace. My grandpa was always involved on the city council, and of course I always wanted to be like him when I grew up. But it's from him that I was able to receive my first lessons in bringing others together. And from his from his example and the life of and many other examples in my life, I was able to learn to be strong, but also be compassionate to other people's needs and ideas. When I moved to Clearfield and started to meet the great people here, I was quickly encouraged to be involved and was able to jump in and do that in various capacities. And have recently, the last 4 years, been involved in the Planning Commission, something that I cherish. I love the Planning Commission and those I get to serve with, and I hope they feel the same way about me serving with them. But I had to learn quickly. I truly had to learn through a fire hose, being on the Planning Commission and thrown right into the frying pan there. But it's because of that opportunity that I fell in love with Clearfield, and I was able to catch the vision of our community. We have a great community. I've loved being involved in all the wonderful discussions we've had, and I think it's the great projects going on in the city that makes this place a place where people want to stay. And I think as we continue to work on those projects, that more people want to stay in our community. Second is what makes me a great fit for the council. When I took over as chair of the Planning Commission at the beginning of this year, I truly stepped out of my comfort zone. But I learned a valuable lesson, and that is that you're only as good as the people around you. You are only as good as the relationships you build. I've enjoyed working as the chair of the Planning Commission. In the last few months, as I've been able to come to the city council meetings and share our insights from the commission, I've learned from each one of you. And I've been able to take that insight back to the commission and share your thoughts with them and help forge that relationship there. We have many complex issues in our city, whether it's bees or accessory buildings, but we have to make sure that we respect the will of the people and that we have the community in our best interests. Great motivational speaker that I love to listen to. He says, there are leaders and those that lead. Leaders hold positions of power and authority, but those who lead inspire us. And that's how I like to lead. I don't necessarily want to be a leader and have power and authority. I want to lead to inspire people. So, which brings me to why I would make a great city council member and fill this vacancy is I have tremendous experience working with Hewlett-Packard. I have been able to manage a large budget for them, meet many CEOs across this country and work with them and be able to help them grow their companies. So I have a lot of great skills and experience in building relationships, understand budgets, and what goes into running a company. I've been able to work with many small companies. But mostly, I've loved serving here in Clearfield City, and I appreciate your time, and thanks for this opportunity.
Thank you, Tim. Joshua Squire.
You all have a difficult decision tonight. These have all been great. I hope to, no offense, but I hope to contribute to that difficult decision. My wife and I and our family moved to Clearfield about 8 years ago. As we were looking out at houses again, like was mentioned before, there was only the one house we were showed in Clearfield, and as soon as we walked in the door, my wife said, "This is it. This is where we're going to live." I didn't have that immediate response and was a little nervous, but she was so sure that we called and made the offer the next day and moved in. And within about a week, I looked at her and said, "It's a good thing I follow you. You're so right. The community that we live in is wonderful. We love living here." My background, I received a bachelor's degree in finance from Weber State University. A little while later, I went back and got my MBA from there with an emphasis in information security and assurance. I have 15 years in the financial industry, and a lot of what I have done there I think would help me to be a successful member of the council. I've been directly involved in preparing and implementing multi-million-dollar budgets. I have managed an investment portfolio of nearly $100 million and have been able to negotiate above market rates in a lot of our funds and accounts for the credit union I work for. I serve as a key member of our strategic planning committee right now. In my role, I'm the assistant vice president over enterprise risk management. And I have a role of helping to plan and come up with new strategies, new areas of focus, ways that we can stay current and ahead of the competition. And then in my direct role, my responsibility is to meet with the different department business leaders and identify the risks that are associated with those actions, come up with mitigating factors, and find a way to make the level of risk acceptable for those decisions and the directions we take. I serve on several board committees at work, both as a participant and then on our enterprise risk committee as the staff chair. So I'm used to working with everyone across the organization, from our board of directors to our newest member, or our newest employees, teaching them how to monitor the risks and help protect the credit union. I've served as a county and state delegate. I'm currently a county delegate in my precinct. It's been great to see the involvement increase so much, the participation. When I went to my first caucus meeting as a newlywed, there were 4 people in the room, my wife and I and our precinct chair and his wife in his living room. And when we were choosing the delegates, it was, okay, who can make the meeting? And at the last caucus meeting we went to, we had, I think, 80 people in the room. And it's great to see the increased participation, and I think we've seen it in this application process here. I have experience volunteering with the Boy Scouts of America. I've been involved in several projects around the city, helping to beautify our city, especially in several of our parks. Helped to establish Corner Park on the corner of Gordon and Main, and have been involved there. I also have volunteer experience with the United Way, the Welesebugu Alliance, which focuses on the Welesebugu region of Mali, Africa, and have done fundraisers to send mainly girls to school, because if family has more than one child, they take the girls out because they can only afford the one. So we raise money to send African girls to school. And then on a more local level, I love to create a sense of community in my neighborhood. I'm big into barbecue, and I like to invite families in my neighborhood that I don't know and that don't know each other, and we pull 4 or 5 families together and we have a cookout, and it's really helped to build a sense of community in our neighborhood. And I feel that if I was able to serve on the council, that's something I would bring and strive for, is to really deepen the sense of community here in Clearfield. And I thank you for your consideration.
We got one more.
Sorry, yeah.
I'm just moving over here.
Oh,
Ever since I had my hip surgery, I can't sit for a long period.
Okay, it is you. Alan Thompson, I thought David Tomczak was getting up to speak, so.
This is absolutely fantastic. To all you guys, I nominate all these guys to be on the council. It's just like was said, 4 people at the caucus meeting. When I was there was 6. The last one, there were 70. Just absolutely phenomenal. My journey started 30 years ago. This journey of, is this for the taking? Excuse me. This journey of preserving and protecting the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, when I enlisted in the U.S. Air Force. Back then, I got a job that didn't require a college degree. Little did I know that what it required was what was inside here. The willingness to show up every day to do the job. One of my first performance reports was Airman Thompson's can-do attitude. That was 30 years ago, 28, 29 years ago, when I first got my performance report, my can-do attitude. That is something I've carried with me throughout my life. The attitude that the forgotten man, you know, having a military background, we don't leave anybody behind, okay? As I was reviewing, getting prepared to see, well, am I really qualified? I started perusing the agendas, and I really appreciated what Mayor Shepherd had to say about the facade, the Clearfield facade. Clearfield is the gateway for thousands of people that visit Hill Air Force Base every year. And let me tell you what, folks, what I learned from going just through a year, I said, yeah, I meet that, and oh my goodness, Nike Peterson and Bush, you know, everybody, you all, everything that you said, I'm like, yeah, that's great. What a phenomenal city council and mayor we have, with the great hands that Clearfield is in. The lighting ceremony, hey, it was a bonus. So I need to donate to the coffers. Being able to see Santa Claus, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Clearfield City, for doing that. For perpetuating the legacy of freedom and liberty in this country. That's something that, you know, that can-do attitude, the blood coursing through my veins of that freedom and liberty, the passion, the commitment, the desire to continue keeping on the good work, the fantastic work. It's been such a pleasure to be here. And to be honest with you, Santa Claus, and being with you guys, my dreams have all come true. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alan. David Tomczak, last but not least.
Sorry about that for confusion. Ever since I had my hip surgery taken out from my rack, can't sit for long periods of time without them going dead. And it's very uncomfortable. I couldn't walk if I didn't stand up further. All right, thank you for the opportunity. So, Madam, 4 years ago, I was addressing this congregation just a little bit ago for the same type of thing, open council member seat. Anyways, a little about my bio. Nothing's really changed a little bit, though. Resident of 20 years. Can't say born and raised, but I was raised since 1994. Then, when I married my wife, she was a volunteer firefighter at Sunset City. And when we were trying to stay within the boundary lines, we decided to look more into Clearfield than into Sunset, and because we figured that Clearfield was where we needed to be. I served 8 years in the armed forces, did 1 tour in Iraq, was given the Purple Heart. In fact, just last year, under executive order, my Bronze Star with Valor was actually reevaluated and determined it was by Congress to be awarded the Silver Star instead. And so I was given that. In the last 4 years, I have spent my time with Weber State University, graduating and going off to Florence to go on grad school for a block. In addition, with my time at Weber State, I had became a student senator, which I chaired the academics. So anytime when a student got suspended or had a complaint with academics from A to Z, they had to come to me, and I had to determine if their complaint was justified to being in front of the committee. Then I was also co-chair of parking services. Anybody who's been to a university, they know parking is atrocious. I'm sorry we can't do anything about it, but we could do anything. I was able to secure the Veteran Services reserved parking stall. First time a Veteran Services building and any of the universities in Utah had a reserved stall. First time ever. I was also on the committee for food services, trying to improve the health quality of the food services, because we had a lot of fast food opportunities at Weber State, and we were trying to go more healthy and more green. In addition, this year I was also given the Outstanding Veteran Student of Weber State University by President White. Pretty much they took all of the students in each demographic and determined, with me being a veteran, I did the most for the school and for the students. Anyways, at my time at Weber State too, I had the opportunity to serve on the Landmarks Commission with Ogden City position. By the rules and regulations, it says that you have to have a historian on the board by technicality. I was working under Dr. McKay, who is the licensed historian, master with the PhD. And I was with her working on the Riverside addition to determine which is considered a national landmark and a historic district. And what most emphasis on that one is Clearfield's approaching 50-year mark in most of our residence areas, just because homes are growing in age, because we were doing a wartime boom city. And when a home reaches 50 years, they're now eligible for a landmark status or a historic district status. And with that one, they go to SHPO and they can basically have a designated land area in the city itself be appointed as a historic district. They, outside of the city codes, they now respond to their own codes. And again, you have to have a licensed historian on the committee to do a whole bunch of research. You have to do title searches from the day the house was built to the current day. If any historic emphasis ever occurred in that home, it has to be annotated. And currently, I'm a VSO with the state of Utah. A VSO is a Veteran Service Officer. I have spent the last 8 years helping veterans, and I was recognized by the state in that position, where I ensure that the veterans get the benefits they have deserved and earned in combat and non-combat related. And I also work with the governor's office to ensure that they acknowledge what we're doing for the veterans and see if we can get different bills and resolutions passed to better assist the veterans. In the last 4 years, we have secured over $4 billion to the state revenue for VA benefits coming to veterans of Utah. And that's in counting of the 175,000 plus veterans and over 6,000 at any given university. All right, and thank you for the opportunity to address this congregation. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Well, I can say one thing this evening, and that's that I'm really happy I don't have a vote. For the first time, I think I'm really happy that it's not my call. With that, again, thank you, everyone, for being here to present tonight. I'm floored, impressed, delighted with the quality of people here tonight and the willingness to serve. With that, do they have?
They do. So,
okay. So
the council, you have a paper ballot in front of you. If you would write your top 3 candidates in order, each one will get a ring key. And then if you'll initial your paper at the bottom by your name and then hand it to me, we'll calculate the 3 that will move forward.
And we're free to move around for a little bit. This will probably take a few minutes. And yeah, I know we don't have, now we lost the music. We had music to start with, and now we lost it. Stuart has volunteered to sing. Or at least dance. This is a city recorder that knows me well. And so she's put questions on this basket and names on this basket just in case I get them wrong. And she knows I would. Got a text from Santa Claus. That's the connections I've got, you know. Sit in a council meeting and Santa Claus is texting me, telling me I'm on his bad list. No, he was saying that in 33 years of being Santa, he had never been on a fire truck. Yeah, that was a first for him. The fun that we have while we're waiting. Adam is up here watching our live stream of us. Well, I always look good. It's amazing. They say, TV adds 10 pounds. No, it looks like it took away like, at least 10 or 20, and that's good. That's the look I've been looking for.
It's pretty
Only
bad if
probably
we're
because
watching
it's so
ourselves.
far away.
I know.
If the camera zooms in, I'll look worse.
And there's three of us? No.
I know. So Adam and I were up at the base on Friday for the groundbreaking ceremony for the newest building of Falcon Hill. Great ceremony, well attended. Governor was there to speak. Challenged Lockheed Martin's president, who was there, to move his offices to Hill Air Force Base or to Falcon Hill, and congratulated him on bringing the portion of Lockheed Martin out here, this one division, and then challenged him to move everything here. Which, way to go, Governor Herbert. But it was kind of cool because they're military obviously big on challenge coins. Well, they had their coin, and it was one of the most. It didn't off of it, the top look that unique. It was just another coin, had Falcon Hill on the back of it. That was kind of cool. But around the middle of it were a whole bunch of Well, it was just binary code. These are all the engineers that are up on base up there, and so they had written in binary code HAFB. You never would have known it if they hadn't have gone through and explained every piece of that coin and why they designed it that way. It was, it was kind of cool that they'd done that. But, it was neat to see them break ground. There's a lot going on up there. As I met this morning with MIDA, the Military Installation Development Authority. We talked about 5 different buildings that are in one stage or another of getting ready to be built. And the most important of those is U-Star's new building, which is the first building that will be built aside from the retail portion, the first building that they will have outside of the fence as part of MIDA. And it's all education. They've moved into that retail facility right now. They've taken up about 5,000 square feet of retail space inside of, right next to Starbucks. And really kind of cool, they had to actually remove the windows from the front of the building to be able to get their equipment in there. And then just kind of put up a panel in the meantime so they can next year take it out of there. They'll break ground on that building in January. So. Lots of good stuff going on up there. Okay, well, again, I want to thank everyone. There are no losers here tonight because there's 9 people that any one of you, as I listen to you, could fill this vacancy. I appreciate your dedication to the city. So our applicants that will be moving forward, Sherry Eichmeyer Reynolds, Tim Roper, and Joshua Squire.
Can I say something? Just remember, next year there's 2 council seats available. I encourage all of you, whether you get put on here tonight or not, if you're interested, run next year, because any one of you would be great. So just remember that.
And I would add to that, we still need help on the Planning Commission. Please help us out there as well. Okay, so first person to get to come up here is Tim.
Never happens when there's like a major award or a prize with it, you know.
Okay, Tim, your question is, what are your financial priorities for the Clearfield City budget, and how would you suggest allocating the available revenues and resources to meet those priorities?
Ooh, loaded question there.
Would you like to have the question in front of you? Would it help? I'm more than welcome to give that to you so you can refer to it. And what was our time frame that we...
Up to 5 minutes.
Up to 5 minutes.
One thing I've always been impressed with what we do up here is, you know, our priorities. It always seems that our priorities do get put into where they need to be. Obviously, the number one priority is always our infrastructure and making this a great city for our citizens to live in. And I think that's where the finances need to go, is to continue that. And as other programs come up and other opportunities come up, it's been a wonderful experience for me to attend city council meetings and hear where those fit in. And that's definitely where my priorities are. You always have to take different things on an individual basis and make those decisions as they come before you. But my feelings are, as long as the infrastructure and, you know, those things that make life comfortable for our citizens are taken care of, then those other things can fall into place. And I think we do a wonderful job with that. Thank you.
Okay. Well, you know, if this isn't your name, you know when yours is getting drunk. Joshua. So your question is, share your vision of how the city should develop in the future and how planning and zoning can influence the process.
All right.
Do you need this? All right.
All right. One of the things that I think is such a great strength of Clearfield is our diversity with our planning and our zoning. We have obviously a large industrial area with the Freeport Center. We have the Air Force Base with additional industrial type work plus engineering, very highly technical jobs. You know, I would hope to continue that diversity, add maybe additional office space, bring in more, like Governor Herbert challenge, bring in more corporate headquarters. So there is more opportunity for office work here. I enjoy the parks we have. I regularly use them, and I think we need to have a strong emphasis on those to give our citizens here in the city a place to recreate, a place to gather as communities and come together. And you know, the planning and zoning, you know, that will guide that with a vision to direct where we go, how we set aside our land here. But again, just emphasize a diversity that will cover us against different risks, that will give us an opportunity to attract various citizens from different backgrounds, both to work and to live here. And I think that would be the strength of the future for Clearfield. Thank you.
Thank you. Sherry, come on up. All right. What would you consider to be your top 2 economic development priorities as a member of the City Council, and why?
Can I have the question too?
Yes, you may.
What would you consider to be your top 2 economic development priorities? I would say that as far as the financial, and that money is taxpayer dollars. So I think it's very important that we utilize that properly. I think safety and having a safe as well as a strong growing community is very, very important. Economic development, just making sure that the areas that are zoned commercially are used properly, and that we're maximizing tax dollars. And when I considered running for this position, I came to a city council meeting, and that was the one where they were trying to rezone, if you will, a piece of property for residential that's commercial. And I was in complete agreement with the committee that we can't take a piece of property that's zoned commercial that we can benefit from tax dollars and turn it into resident, where we don't get that benefit. So I think utilizing the zones that have been set aside and being open-minded to really develop economic growth for Clearfield. As I drove around, it seems like, I don't know that we're landlocked, but we're built almost to capacity. And so, we really need to make sure that we're utilizing the zones, but yet that we're business friendly, and that businesses want to come here, and that we have benefits for businesses to come here and to create jobs, and to create a good working environment as well as a residential environment. I have 2 staff that are phenomenal. They both live in Clearfield, like we're the Clearfield all-around agency. But, you know, it's a good place to do business, and I think for our economic growth, we need to continue to make it a good place to do business. But also to make it a good, strong community, because we are very diverse, that's been mentioned, which I think is one of our strengths, is the diversity of our community. But with diversity does come some challenges. And so I think, you know, safety is a huge issue, and making our residents feel safe, making business owners feel safe, and it's just it's a great place to live. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, you want to give them some instruction there, Nancy?
Okay, you have a round 2 ballot, so you're going to just put 2 of the 3 people on your ballot, do the same thing, initial it, and hand it to me, and we'll see where we're at.
It doesn't get quite like this very
No. So true.
Yeah.
Okay, Nancy informs me that we did not have any of the candidates get 3 votes. So we will narrow this down, and so our 2 that will be moving forward will be Tim and Joshua. So thank you, Sherry. We don't have an order, do we? I guess we do if I throw these 2 into the bucket. Adam, you want to shake that up? And Adam, why don't you draw one out of there? All right, Joshua, you get to go first. Good question.
Oh, boy.
What is your favorite color? No.
Blue, no yellow.
Red, no, blue! What do you believe is the most important challenge facing Clearfield City during the next year, and how would you propose to meet it?
Oh, boy. During the next year, I know in my area, a lot of it has to do around the infrastructure. Our roads were repaved recently with a gravel mix that's falling apart. Our gutters are full of gravel every day, and a lot of complaints from the kids that are trying to skate on it and having a hard time. We also have a house on my street that since the time we've moved in has been burned out, and as I drive through Clearfield, I see a few areas that are like that. And I think one of the challenges that we have as a city is to, it was mentioned, when we first moved to Clearfield, some people, were like, oh man, you're moving to Clearfield? And I was born and raised in Bountiful, and my mom's side of the family settled Bountiful, so I have some deep roots there. And so coming here, I didn't know much about it, other than the one guy I could never beat in track in high school was from Clearfield High. But we've come to love this community, and we have so many strengths as a community. I mentioned the diversity that we have here and the sense of belonging. We've mentioned it is a gateway. We have a lot of people that move here from out of state to work at the base and come and live in our city. And so we're their first experience with Utah. And I have a lot of neighbors that have moved in that are with the Air Force that have said, this is the best place they've ever lived because of the community we have. And I think working on those challenges to beautify and to work on the infrastructure to make this a really desirable place for all people so that nobody says, why are you moving to Clearfield? But the question becomes, why aren't you moving to Clearfield? And I think that would be a focus that I would have on the council.
Okay, thank you.
I was going to say chickens, but.
All right, Tim. Last question of the evening. What is your philosophy on raising a tax or fee? When, if ever, is it appropriate to increase a tax or fee on the residents of Clearfield?
It's a very good question. Taxes are something that's difficult. I always explain to people that, city government is the most intrusive into your life. It's the one that's going to affect you the most, and that's why we need to be so involved with our city governments. I do see the needs sometimes. There are, aging infrastructures, in the city. I guess when I first came up here to serve on the Planning Commission, I had no idea actually what went into it all. So I think you do need to look at things strategically. How much is that going to affect the citizens of the city? Is it something we can take care of in the short term, or is it something we can raise little by little? So those are the different things. I know that I've listened in previous conversations with the city council, the same question come up. And I do think it's a definite thing that I think falls on the responsibility of those people who live in our community, and not to put that burden on future people who may move into our city or those who may grow up here and stay here. So that's definitely where my philosophy stands.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, round 3.
You get to put one on your paper, and then I'll collect them.
So it's only going to go one way or the other. We're going to have a winner, or we're going to have a tie. Yeah. If you don't have it, you lose. You're buying drinks for the rest of us. No. don't have to flip a coin. Which is good, because I really hate it when it comes down to flipping a coin. We would like to, again, thank everyone and congratulate our new city council member for the next year, Tim Roper. And now, we will turn the time over to Nancy Dean to swear in our new city council member so that he can come take his place on the dais so we can conduct one last piece of business this evening. Oh, excuse me, we can't swear him in yet. I actually do need a motion first. We might want to take care of the business part of the business. Let's see how this goes.
Can I make a comment first?
You may.
So this has been a difficult vote, and it's not always that way when I'm casting votes in different elections, I'll have to admit, but it was good tonight, and I'd love to see a lot of you, if not all of you, get involved this next election cycle and put your names in the hat. We need good people always running for office and always giving options to the city to make sure that we're well run. Very difficult voting.
Weigh in on that too, Your Honor. Just appreciate that. What a great opportunity it was. Really difficult, and I've been on both sides of this. I've done this once before on this side, and I've been on that side. So, and I appreciate the format, the way it was run tonight. It was very well done. So, with that, Your Honor, I would move to appoint Tim Roper to the vacancy on the Clearfield City Council. Is that for the remainder of the, I'm sorry, I don't have the motion from me, for the remainder of the term till December 31st, 2017.
So approve resolution.
Okay, I'm sorry, maybe some.
2016-24.
Move to approve resolution 2016-25, 24, authorizing the appointment to fill the vacancy on the city council to Mr. Tim Roper, and authorize your signature to any necessary documents.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. That does require a voice vote. Councilmember Phipps?
Aye.
Councilmember Peterson?
Aye.
Councilmember Bush?
Aye.
Councilmember Young?
Aye.
It is unanimous. You may now stand up and Nancy will swear you in.
Okay.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Timothy Roper,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend
that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Utah,
and the Constitution of the State of Utah,
and that I will discharge the duties
and that I will discharge the duties
of my office with fidelity.
with my office with fidelity.
Silence. I know it. So we should say chickens. Okay, Jim, come join us. We have 2 more items of business that we have to conduct this evening. So our next item on the agenda, we actually have Kent Bush's term on the sewer district expires at the end of this year. And so we actually need to reappoint Kent to the sewer district. It's up for appointment. It could have been any one of the council members. Kent does a phenomenal job on the sewer district, represents us very, very well there, and is passionate about it. So it
There's
is
a
my-
whole bunch of things that come to my mind.
I know, and I was just going to say them all, and then I thought, no, I'm just not going to go there.
Yeah, we don't have to do all the cliches.
We're just going to flush that right away right now, so. So it is my recommendation that we appoint Kent Bush to serve again on the North Davis Sewer District with the, I don't know when his term expires at this point. Is it a
2020, I think.
2020? Yes, it is. Doesn't say that on the resolution, but is a term expiring.
Oh, his term expires in December.
Yeah, his term expires now, but his next term will end in 2020. So that is my recommendation. I would entertain a motion to that effect. You can't make that one, Kent. Well, you probably could, actually, but.
Your Honor, I move to approve resolution, make sure I'm on the right one. I move to approve and consent to your appointment of Kent Bush Councilmember Kent Bush to the Sewer District it's a board, correct? And
That
authorize
is-
your signature to any necessary documents.
That's Resolution 2016R-25, just for the record. Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a
Yeah,
second?
2016 R.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Councilmember Young?
Aye.
Councilmember Peterson?
Aye.
Councilmember Bush?
Aye.
Councilmember Phipps?
Aye.
Councilmember Roper?
Aye.
Okay, that is unanimous. No, I don't. These are the only two. Yeah, on our agenda, it says we have mayoral appointments, but really the only appointments that we needed to make were these two that are on here by resolution. Oh, excuse me, I apologize. I'll make this last one and then we'll hit the other ones. We're going to jump to number 5 and get it out of the way, but Carrie Benson, who has obviously stepped down as from the city council and has now been replaced by Councilmember Roper. She was serving on the North Davis Fire District Control Board. And so it is my recommendation that we appoint Tim Roper to serve on that control board for the remainder of that term. Next year, we'll actually add another member as our mix-up switches and or the mix of the board switches, and West Point takes over the chair. We add an opening. We add an at-large person to the council as well, to the control group as well. So that would be my recommendation, and I would entertain a motion to that effect.
Is it this last one?
It's Resolution 2016-R26.
Your Honor, I move to approve Resolution 2016R-26, authorizing your recommendation to appoint Tim Roper to the North Davis Fire District's Administrative Control Board and authorize your signature to any necessary documents.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Councilmember Roper.
Aye.
Councilmember Phipps.
Aye.
Councilmember Peterson.
Aye.
Councilmember Bush.
Aye.
Councilmember Young.
Aye.
Okay, that is unanimous. So with that, with that one having been done, we need to have Councilmember Roper, it's my recommendation that he fill those assignments that were already held by Councilmember Benson. So to clarify those, that is, again, being a member of the North Davis Fire District Control Board, which we just took care of, to being the Planning Commission liaison, the Community Development Renewal Agency member, a member of the CDRA Board, and a member of the Building Authority Board. So I would entertain a motion for that.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. This does not require a voice roll call. So all in favor?
Aye.
Now, any opposed? That was a very unanimous, resounding aye. That is all that I had on the agenda this evening. And so with that, again, I want to thank everyone for being here and sticking around for this. Congratulations, Tim. for this appointment. It is nice to have you on the council.
We now have another opening on the planning commission.
We now have another opening on the planning commission, so.
So any of
we will
you
be taking
interested in
applications
that?
for the planning commission. We, put your names in, except for you, Brady, because you're already there.
And Ron.
And Ron. You guys can't apply, you're already there. With that is all I had on the agenda. We need a motion.
I make a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone, for being here.
New adventure.
Yeah, no, I just, it's the first time I've seen that. Hey, it's good to see you, Alan. Hey, thank you so much for coming up. Planning commission tomorrow.
Yes. Which will be interesting, because he will still be the chair tomorrow. Until you replace the chair, he still has to serve as the chair. So,
Well, no, it says. I know, because there's all kinds of. It says. No, because it's a conflict. He can't
the planning commission on their agenda tomorrow will have the chair.
Yeah, I just make it a chair be the liaison. So, yeah, he cannot.
He cannot be on there.
In fact, I
He'll
just
be
got,
there as the liaison.
I just got from reading it, it says that
That is weird, though, have the chair as liaison, former chair as liaison. No, former chair as liaison.
he cannot, for some reason, he cannot whatever.
It just, to me, it seems like a conflict. If you've been there,
Make some changes at the first of the year.
At the first of the year,
interesting.
we have,
Right.
the first of
Get
the year,
through it,
we
yeah.
have to do a new chairman and vice chairman.
Yeah, right, it just usually, it's like they pick some council member who's never been there. That's tomorrow.
So there was no way to kind of fix that. We will get it where he's going to decide to do.
That one was a hard one. Really good one, I'm sitting there going.
It's funny because
Throwing eggs, well, it's not as normal seat, so. No, he's usually here.
Yeah, I had to. Yeah, I used